Starting with the climb, the shift in geometry has made for a tremendous leap in bike climbing efficiency, and the Nomad is no different. The Nomad's climbing is not arduous and has no problem around tight switchbacks. Santa Cruz did it right, and with the efficiency of the suspension, it climbs very well for 170 millimeters of travel. We'll have to see what happens with the Santa Cruz Bronson, but as it is now, I'd rather climb the Nomad. We'll go ahead and fast forward the rest of this climb and talk about what's new with the Nomad. The last generation of the Santa Cruz Nomad was released in 2017. That may not seem that long ago, but much has changed in the bike industry. Version 4 ushered in a revolution in Santa Cruz's design and suspension. Today, we'll look at the newly released version 5. The low linkage suspension had previously only been seen on Santa Cruz's downhill bike, and now is present on all Santa Cruz trail bikes. So after all that, it was no surprise to see another new iteration of the Nomad. Santa Cruz made all the right changes. The Nomad version 5 maintains its 170 millimeters of travel and low linkage suspension. Past that, it sees the standard changes. They added a support to the drive side of the rear swing arm. The reach for the size large increased by 15 millimeters to 475, and the seat tube angle moved from 74.5 degrees to almost 78 degrees. And of course, the head tube angle was slackened, this time by a whole degree. Some more interesting changes include the shortened seat tube. It went from 450 millimeters on the size large down to 430. This accommodates more riders and longer dropper posts. And for free riding, getting the seat weight down is paramount. And for another interesting and not totally expected change, Santa Cruz is following the current trend of size-specific chainstays. However, with the new Nomad, they took an interesting route. Rather than producing different carbon rear ends, which would certainly add cost and also complicate replacement, they decided to make different size links, allowing them to change the rear end by 5 millimeters throughout the size range. The last changes I'll cover include the shock tunnel, which allows clearance for nearly all rear shock options. They also sharpened up some of the design language and added this tough-looking shark fin gusset to the head tube. Unfortunately, I only have this bike for a day, so I'll get back to the riding. I will certainly follow up if I can get it for a few more rides. The new Nomad screams freeride is not dead. It wants to get off the ground, be whipped sideways, and hooked off everything in sight. As long travel 2.9ers continued to pop up, it seemed as though the bike manufacturers forgot about this category. Thankfully, Yeti released the SP165, and the Transition Patrol, while getting up there in age, is still going strong. I also got to review the Revel Rail when it was released, but even that bike's going on 2 years now. This is a category all about fun, and I don't want to see that forgotten. I was fortunate enough to get on the flagship build for the 5th generation of the Nomad. This thing came spec'd with a Fox Factory 38 on the front and a Factory Float X2 on the rear. I am pretty used to the 36, and following Fox's recommendations for the 38, I was able to get the fork to where I was comfortable. I currently have 0 extended time on the Float X2, so I just followed along and hoped for the best. The reserve rims are another standout from Santa Cruz, both for their reliability and ease of replacement. Rounding out the build is the X01 drivetrain and Code RSC brakes. These brakes seem to be the undisputed champ in recent years. The Bergtech stem and rear axle also add a unique flair that can be seen across the current Santa Cruz line. It is also always good to see Maxxis rubber, and the double down casing on the coil sprung options is a clever touch. All things considered, there's no need for upgrades out of the box.
All right, so now for the fun part, we'll see how the Nomad descends. How much speed we can carry without pedaling too much. All right, give it a couple into this guy. Perfect. Quick little guy. Couple awkward turns.
This thing is a ton of fun when you get moving. It feels light on the trail and really likes to pump and slide around corners. It also doesn't feel like a pig on the flatter sections of trail. I forgot how the smaller wheels feel in the air. While the current crop of Enduro 2.9ers jump with ease, the appeal of the smaller wheel is undeniable. So who is the Nomad for? The Nomad is for anyone looking to push the limits. Racers are increasingly flocking to the 29-inch wheels, but if you're not chasing elite level podiums, then the fun of the smaller wheels definitely shines. If you want what all those new Enduro 2.9ers have, but aren't sure about the big wheels, then the Nomad's got you. If jumps, drops, and rocks are your favorite, they're the Nomad's favorite as well. Finally, if you're smashing rocks in Moab or chasing the steepest lines in Williams Lake, then the Nomad is worth taking a look at. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm really working hard to get my hands on more bikes and put together reviews like this.